Hi guys, so today's video is going to be a list of some things I've been loving lately. If you've never seen me do one of these videos, I know that primarily my channel is about books, so my monthly favorites tend to be things that have nothing to do with books that I've been loving lately, that have been making my life easier or have been really convenient. And a lot of times I want to kind of pass the word along, like as if you were a friend of mine or something, and I'd be telling you about something I've really been liking in case you might find it fun or interesting or entertaining in some fashion. So the first thing I'm going to start off with would be a couple of channels here on YouTube. I obviously don't think I can show this first channel's content on my video because it's their content, but you have to just believe me. Even if you think it sounds boring, it doesn't sound interesting, just at least check out one of their videos, because I was telling my husband about it and he was like, okay. And I showed him one of this girl's videos and he was like, this is amazing, and he was so blown away by it. And then my elderly father, I showed him this girl's videos and he's like, that's pretty neat. And just everybody I've shown has been so intrigued by this girl's channel. I don't know how to say the name of it, but this channel is this girl who lives in rural China, and a big part of her videos is just her showing you her life and how she uses traditional Chinese methods of building furniture and making clothes and cooking food. And there's pretty much no talking in the videos. It's just her, and then sometimes you see her elderly grandmother in the video. But she just, I can't really emphasize enough how amazing her, not only the content is, but the quality. It's like watching National Geographic or Planet Earth or something. You know, like the quality of the videos is so good. And the music that she picks is amazing. It's just breathtaking to watch. I really can't emphasize how amazing this channel is enough. The second channel would be Jubilee. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this channel in the past, and likely actually in a different favorites video, but I'm mentioning them again because I've been on a Jubilee kick recently. There's a specific playlist on their channel called Middle Ground. And what they do is they bring people together with opposing viewpoints, and they have them discuss whatever these viewpoints are. And sometimes you watch them and you're kind of frustrated because you're like, how can people think that way? But other times you watch these videos and everybody's so well spoken, so respectful. And what I really love is that a lot of times when people have opposing viewpoints on controversial topics, or sometimes just really simple, basic topics, you always see people at the extremes. You always see people hating each other, hating the other side. And what I really love about this channel is a lot of times they show you that even though we disagree about things, we can agree to disagree, or we can hear the other side and see what they have to say and learn from that, gain empathy. So I just find it really fascinating. It's so much better, in my opinion, than seeing people yell at each other on the news. The next few things happen to be organization centered, because even though it's not quite spring, I have been in the spring cleaning mood, and so I have just been trying to find ways to organize and be as efficient as possible. And one of the things I found recently are these very basic, simple bins that you can put things in. They're somewhat flexible, and what I really liked about these is that I got them at the Dollar Tree. This one happens to be holding a bunch of my book because I'm restocking on selling signed copies, and so I needed something where these weren't just laying out, especially because they're tempting for my dog. And you can see what I mean about how they're flexible. This one happens to be kind of heavy because there's a bunch of books in it, but like I said, you can put whatever in it, and if you're needing just something to contain some of your stuff, it's only $1 for one of these bins. And I know the only downside is that a lot of Dollar Trees, they don't offer the same exact products from store to store, but they do have a lot when it comes to bins and organization of that sort, so you can probably find something that suits your needs. On the topic of organization and efficiency, I have been on the hunt for a new planner recently, and I wanted one of those planners that was kind of the size of a spiral notebook. I've used those Fox planners in the past, which those are great, but I just wanted something that was basically a notebook where I had a full month view at the beginning, and then I had each day of the week, and then that's it. I didn't really need anything else. I just wanted a basic planner, and I found one that I really, really love. They have a bunch of different patterns too, in case you're like, that one looks old lady-ish. So it has a protective sleeve on the front, and then here you can see the pattern. Like I said, I know for some of you, you might be like, that looks like it's for the elderly, but I love flowers. They have little tabs here for all of your months, which is very nice for if you need to flip to a specific section. And then, like I said, it had exactly what I was looking for. So if you go to the May tab, you will have the full month. You guys know how calendars and planners work, but you have the full month, and then you flip. The next couple pages are just the week itself that you have at the very top of the week this week. So whatever you guys like to do, if you want to put your goals for the week, or if you have any important appointments or people's birthdays, whatever, you've got that at the beginning of the week, each individual day. And that's it. And that's all I wanted. And I was so happy that I found this because it's the exact size I wanted. It is a pretty print and it wasn't too expensive because, oh my gosh, can planners be outrageous, which is crazy. So I liked this pattern. They had tons of other patterns, so I'll go ahead and link it. I got it from Target. The last thing that I'm going to talk about has to do with the game Magic the Gathering. So this is very specific and won't appeal to a lot of people, or you'll be really confused if you keep watching and you haven't played that game. But some of these cards I've been really liking. If you have a card shop near you, or if you want to try to find these cards, I really like them. I happen to play primarily white, blue with a little bit of red. My husband plays green, black. So between the two of us, we play with all the colors. We play standard 60 card deck. We mostly just play with each other and then sometimes friends. We don't really play competitively, although I am interested because I feel like I'm pretty good. Starting with some land cards, I'm gonna go pretty fast, but I have Mystic Monastery, which is great because, like I said, I use a combination of blue, red, white, and this particular card, once you play it and you tap it, it can be any of those colors. Also, we have Gateway Plaza. No matter what colors you can use this if you use a combination because you pay 1 to first play the card, but then after that, it can be any color. I have been playing with a lot of angel cards recently, and I found a land called Seraph Sanctuary. It's not a specific color, that's the only downside, but you get 1 life when you play it, and then every time you play an angel, you get another life, which is great if you have a lot of angels in your deck, because then you're constantly getting back a lot of life. Speaking of angel cards, I wanted to mention a few angels that are really, really good and that my husband really hates. One of them would be Angel of Condemnation. I would say it's got the most function and it's the cheapest. It costs 4 of the, it's the cheapest of the 3 I'm going to show. And this particular card, it's flying with vigilance, and you can do 2 and white, tap it, and exile a card of your opponent's, which is so messed up, and it's so easy to do, and then you just can bring it back from being tapped after 1 turn. The other 2 are definitely really expensive, but they are fantastic. The one that costs 6 here is one that it says at the beginning of each combat, you can do first strike, vigilance, or lifelink. Creatures you control gain that ability to the end of the turn, which is pretty fantastic for everybody to have lifelink. The other one is very expensive to play. It costs 7, but it's flying with vigilance, and when you play it, you can bring another either human or angel card back from your graveyard to the battlefield, which is, again, even though this card costs 7, that's super messed up because basically you're playing 7 to play 2 different angels. And if you have that other land card, Seraph Sanctuary, you're going to get 2 life back just from playing those, unless you have multiple Seraph Sanctuaries. My husband has been very much hating all of my angels, especially the fact that they're flying. And we found this card at our card shop the other day, and I was like, you need to get this card because it's going to be very good against me. And it's called Heaven. And it's an instant. It only costs X and 1, and Heaven deals X damage to each creature with flying. So you pay however much you want. You can do that much damage to flying creatures, all of your opponent's flying creatures. It's really frustrating. I'm going to go through the remaining ones really fast because I don't want this to go on for forever. But one of them would be this God Eternal Oketra. I'm not really sure how to say it, but this card should not even be allowed. It has double strike. Anytime you cast a creature, you get a 4/4 black zombie warrior creature with vigilance, and if somebody puts this card into exile or basically just destroys it in some way if it dies, you just put it right back into your deck 3 down. It's basically impossible to kill, and it also is super messed up. This next one I'm pretty sure is a very old print, but again, my husband hates this card because it only costs 3 to cast. And if you tap it, you just destroy a target creature with power 4 or greater. Next, we have Deputy of Detention. When you play this card, you exile a target non-land permanent that your opponent controls, and then you exile all other cards with that same name. And it's not just creatures, it's target non-land permanent, so you can use it against planeswalkers too. Another one, this enchantment, this is one that is so aggravating if you're playing against somebody who has this, because you enchant a creature and then it loses all its abilities, and it's just a 1/1 card now. So it basically negates anything that your opponent's cool, awesome card that it just cost them so much to play. It just negates all of it. A card that I would say is maybe better than that card is this particular one, Captured by the Consulate, because you enchant a target creature, that creature can't attack, and now anytime your opponent basically tries to use instant, sorcery, anything like that that has a single target, it then goes to the enchanted creature, so it basically makes it impossible for your opponent to use any instant or sorcery to target any of your stuff. Last thing I'm going to mention is Wall of Reverence. This card is defender and flying. It's 1/6. It only costs 4 to play it, and this is one that every single time that it's your end step, you gain life equal to the power of a target creature you control. I'm pretty sure I lost a lot of people talking about Magic the Gathering for that long, but I just have been really liking these cards. My husband's really been hating these cards, so I thought that these would be some good ones that you guys can potentially add to your deck. I know that pretty much everything I mentioned was white or blue, and I only mentioned one that had green. So I think in the future, I'll have my husband pick out some of his favorites, and then he can let you know. Let me know some of your favorite cards, especially if they go well with the cards that I mentioned, because I would love to make my deck even better. And if you have some that would be really good against my cards, let me know that too, because my husband would very much appreciate it. Anyway, that's it for some things I've been loving recently. Let me know what you've been really enjoying, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.